Hello my dear friends, this is Ritu and welcome to my channel. Yet again we meet with a new recipe with a twist. So let's get started, and the first step is I have around not exactly 1 kilo but around 600 to 700 grams of boiled baby potatoes, and I'm adding it to a pan where the oil is heating. And if you have such broken potatoes, you can keep them aside, and later on can add it to the gravy just to thicken it up. I have 1 teaspoon of desi ghee, clarified butter, and then I have a half a teaspoon of turmeric powder, half a teaspoon of salt, which I will be adding to the potatoes at this stage. I have 1 teaspoon of desi ghee. I have few bay leaves, few cardamoms, salt to taste. Among the spices, I have half a teaspoon of Kashmiri red chili powder, half a teaspoon again, half a teaspoon of Garam Masala, half a teaspoon of Kasuri methi, which is I've roasted it slightly and then I crushed it. And then I have half a teaspoon of cumin powder and 1.5 teaspoon of coriander powder. A cup of tomato puree. This is these tomatoes. They're actually four tomatoes, and I've grated it with a grater. And the star ingredient here, which is everybody will be surprised to see it, is the pumpkin puree over here. And I have half a cup of yogurt. Now I give it a stir, and with half a teaspoon of salt and half a teaspoon of turmeric, these potatoes will brown and cook. There are 2 times we'll be adding oil to this recipe, so please rush in the oil accordingly and not make it very oily. The potatoes are off the heat, and now I move on to the next step. Heated some oil in the pan, again the same pan, and I add cumin seeds to it, the cardamoms, and then the bay leaves. Thereon I add the tomatoes, the grated tomatoes, and let them cook. I also add most of the spices except the kasuri methi to these tomatoes. The spices are in, and I give it a good mix and let the mixture cook through. I'm doing mostly all the sattvic recipes, that is without onion, garlic. So rectifying on my errors, I have forgotten to add the ginger, so I have added it at this stage. And also while tempering I was supposed to add the ghee. I forgot that also, but ideally should be added, but if you add it at this stage also, it's okay because still cooking. And then we mix it up. As you can see, the oil has separated, so the tomatoes are cooked, and now I add the yogurt. It's always good to add the lower the flame, and then as soon as you add it, give it a good mix and raise the heat also. The yogurt has also cooked through, and there's hardly any liquid left into the tadka. Now I add the salt to taste, and then I add the pumpkin puree. I also rinse the bowl with some water in it, and then give it a good mix. Once the mixture starts bubbling, I add the potatoes and give it a good mix. The potatoes tend to soak up the gravy, so I'm going to add a little bit of water also at this stage. And then I cover this pan and let it simmer for at least 10 minutes. This recipe is almost done. The only thing I have not added is the Kasuri methi powder, and that goes in. This dish is going to be a little bit tangy and a little bit sweet. Tangy because of the tomatoes, and sweet because of the pumpkin. I hope you enjoyed this recipe as much as I also did making it. The last thing we do is garnish it with a bit of coriander, and it's ready to be served. It goes very well with rice and paranthas or chapatis.